Hey everyone, welcome back to Alpha Insights. I'm Lane.
And I'm Sydney. Good to have you with us. And hey, if you have questions while you're listening, drop them at stockalpha.ai.
All right, quick rundown for today. The cannabis sector wasn't moving because of earnings or a big deal. Instead, state policy headlines took the wheel, and that's creating fresh uncertainty for makers, distributors, and retailers.
Right. Two stories stood out. Oregon's legislators are pushing a proposal to limit how much THC can be in a single edible. And in Ohio, the governor pushed back hard against people trying to roll back tougher hemp and cannabis rules. Both of those point to more regulatory friction ahead.
Let's unpack Oregon first. The proposal would make it illegal to sell a single edible with more than 10 milligrams of THC. Sponsors say it's about preventing accidental high-dose exposures, especially among kids or people who aren't regular users.
10 milligrams is a pretty low per-piece cap compared with some products on the shelf today. There are items where one piece can have 50 milligrams or more. For manufacturers, that means product redesigns, new packaging, label changes, and likely some short-term costs.
Exactly, and those are not just small line-item costs. Think reformulation expenses, repackaging runs, and the risk of write-downs if inventory can't be sold in its current form. Retailers will also need new point-of-sale controls and staff training so they don't accidentally sell out-of-compliance items.
Plus, if Oregon moves forward, it raises a practical question. Do other states copy that approach? If you're trying to scale a national edible product line, a patchwork of different per-piece limits makes manufacturing and distribution way more expensive.
Now flip over to Ohio. The governor publicly rebuked activists fighting the state's tightened rules, which include new penalties tied to possession of out-of-state cannabis products. That signals the regulators aren't likely to back down quickly.
Which matters because multi-state operators rely on predictable rules. If states start enforcing penalties for out-of-state products, companies may limit where they ship, change labeling, or even stop certain distribution flows to avoid legal exposure. That all drives up compliance and legal costs.
So put those two stories together and you get the dominant theme for today. Regulatory risk is the headline, not fundamentals. Expect short-term volatility as traders reprice companies that sell edibles or operate across state lines.
Traders will be watching a few places for early signals. The advisor shares pure U.S. cannabis ETF, and big names like Truliev, Green Thumb Industries, Curaleaf, and Tilray. Those tend to move first on policy chatter and can tell you how sentiment is shifting.
If you own these names, watch for corporate responses. Will companies absorb reformulation costs or will they pass them to consumers? Will retailers clear inventory quickly or hold and repackage? Those decisions will show up in margins and guidance over the coming quarters.
And there are some concrete things to monitor in the next few weeks. For Oregon, committee hearings, amendments, and any compliance timelines they announce. For Ohio, any legal filings or organized repeal campaigns that might change enforcement. Also track how the sector ETFs and big operators trade. They'll signal whether the market sees this as a temporary scare or something longer lasting.
A practical investor takeaway: be selective and patient. Policy-driven dips can create opportunities if the underlying business is solid and regulators settle on clearer rules. But don't ignore the near-term costs and logistical headaches that companies will face.
Totally. If you're looking for specifics, expect one-time reformulation and repackaging costs that could push retail prices up for a bit, and more restrictive distribution strategies for companies operating across multiple states. That's the risk side. The potential upside is that clearer rules eventually make the market cleaner, but we're not there yet.
To wrap up, Oregon's proposed 10 milligram per piece cap could force product changes and raise costs for edible makers and retailers. Ohio's tougher stance increases legal risk for cross-border activity. Watch the cannabis ETF and the large operators for early market signals, and keep an eye on legislative and legal developments.
Good summary. And remember, if anything we said raises questions, we want to hear them. Head over to stockalpha.ai to ask us anything. And while you're there, check out more market content.
Yep, got questions? Drop them at stockalpha.ai and we'll answer live. Thanks for listening to Alpha Insights. We'll see you next time.